Hey there everybody, good morning. Today is Tuesday, June 16th. The EIDL Loan is back! But before I get started, I wanted to ask you guys to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and please smash that like button because YouTube algorithms get this message out to everybody. You know what I'm talking about. And also, please leave a comment below and let me know how you're doing. If you have any questions and comments about any of this, I'd love to hear from you. Alright, now let's get started. The EIDL loan has returned for all small businesses. As you know, it was put on hold, I think like early May, late April, something like that, and they were only allowing agriculture businesses to apply. But now, 6 weeks later, whatever, it's reopened to all small businesses, which is great. I know a lot of my clients were still waiting. They were on the fence about it at the time, and then the SBA kind of closed down the application for all businesses except agriculture. Then they were pissed. My clients were pissed that they didn't get in. So now, finally, we're gonna get them in, and that's great because they really need the help. So what has led us to this point right now? So the EIDL loan was opened and ready for applications like late March, early April, something like that. And they only had $7 billion of funding for the program right at that time. And when news got out that this loan existed, they got flooded with applications. Their website was being shut down, like it was being overrun basically. And so the original application process was changed to this now very streamlined process that takes just maybe 15 minutes to do. And before, it would literally take like an hour or two with all the documents that they would have you do online and all the forms that they had you fill out. An hour or two. It was a long process. So it bogged down the system, it shut it down, and now we are at this streamlined application. So in the meantime, Congress decided to fund this program up to about $350 billion. So it went from $7 billion to $350 billion. And during that time, from early March to about now, the SBA has received 5 million applications, apparently. 5 million. Just think about how many that is. Think about how many they received from a normal disaster compared to now. So they had a few hundred employees that were hired at the beginning of this thing. And supposedly now they've hired thousands of employees to help service these loans. And it kind of seems like it. The last couple weeks, it seems like these loans were being processed much more quickly. I mean, it literally took like 2 months for it to get to this point, but finally we're here, right? The other thing that's happened is Jovita Carranza, who is the administrator of the SBA, decided to cap the loans at $150,000. When in the CARES Act, it does say loans up to $2 million can be lent out to each entity. I think that's bullshit. Say what you want about the grants, the $1,000 grants, $10,000 grants. I think capping your loan at $150K when it explicitly says $2 million, there's no question there. There's no ambiguity. It literally says $2 million and it's capped at $150,000. That in itself has hurt a lot of my clients, and I'm sure it's hurt a lot of you guys too, who have higher revenues and cost of goods sold. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be applying for reconsiderations for more money for some of the clients that really need it. Jovita Carranza has said in the hearing last week, the only reason she capped it was because she was fearful of running out of money, and Congress was like, if you run out of money, we're just going to give you more money. So why did you cap it? So that's what happened. She couldn't give a really good explanation. She was fearful they'd run out of money. Congress said they would give her more money. So at the moment, it's still capped. Hopefully they remove that cap soon. Hopefully they would reconsider some businesses that already applied and qualified. Okay, so what's going on with the grants? It was supposed to be an up to $10,000 advance that was given to you within 72 hours of applying for the grants/loan. Now that obviously didn't happen. I think the earliest somebody got something was like a month out from applying. And at this point, it doesn't seem like people are even getting their advances. I have some clients that applied a while ago and they haven't gotten anything yet. And I know they have decent credit, so it's not their credit score that's holding them back. But this is also bullshit because in the CARES Act, it says you can get the grant whether or not you are approved for the loan. And, and you're supposed to get it really quickly, within 72 hours. That didn't happen. Now, grants aren't really a thing, apparently. They might be a thing, if you get funded with the loan, if you get approved with the loan and funded, then they might give you the grant as well. But they should be really giving it to you whether or not you get approved for the loan. So now, for those people who are still interested in this program, if you haven't applied yet, here's just some basic things you need to know. It's got a 3.75 fixed interest rate, which is really good for a loan. It's got 30-year payback term. This is fixed. You can't choose less time. You can't choose 5 years, 10 years. You have to choose the 30-year option. And, my recommendation is don't take 30 years to pay this thing off, because you enter into an agreement with the SBA that has some relatively strict terms that they can, and it gives them some rights to access to your financial information and all that stuff. And you just don't want to be on the hook for that for 30 years, So I recommend paying it off sooner. But either way, the 30-year term gives you a lot of flexibility. That means your payments is really low. So during these hard times, or during the hard times in the future, if your payment's low, you're more likely to be able to make those payments, right? So 30 years, flex term, really good. There's no prepayment penalty. So if you decide to pay it off early or decide to make large payments here and there, there's no penalties for that, which is also good. Also, payments are deferred for a year. So at the time that you get approved and sign the loan documents, your payments will be deferred for a year. So you don't have to make any payments. But interest will still accrue during that time period. So if you took the loan, you accepted it, you signed the documents, and you're considering about maybe returning the loan because you might not need it anymore, don't take too long because you're accruing interest on it, okay? So that's another great thing, deferred payments. The money is used for working capital. It's supposed to be used for working capital, which is just your day-to-day operating expenses. There's very clear guidelines on this, on what you should be using the money for. And also, I highly doubt the SBA will have the resources to enforce the guidelines for all the applicants, or most of the applicants, or even some of the applicants. If they've already got 5 million applicants, then how the hell are they gonna enforce all these guidelines? So just so you know, there's scary language in the contract of the loan, but just do your best to follow the guidelines. And as long as you're honest, staying honest, keeping good records, I think you'll be fine. And then lastly, if you still haven't applied, there's supposed to be a grants portion too. So there's the EIDL grants and the EIDL loan. The grant is separate, you don't have to pay it back. The loan is obviously the portion you have to pay back. The grant is not taxable. However, any expenses that you pay for with the grants will not be tax deductible, so it technically is taxable. And that's pretty much the basics of the EIDL loan / grants. If you haven't applied for it yet, now's the time. Go to sba.gov. I'll link below to the direct EIDL loan websites. And there's also stats on there. If you scroll all the way down, you can see how many loans they've processed, how many loan dollars, how many loan advances they've processed, all that stuff. You scroll down, there's some PDFs down there. And lastly, just a quick touch on the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program. If you haven't applied for this yet, or if you're on the fence, you only have until June 30th for approval. So you better get your ass on it now. If you're even considering it, just apply for it. If you're on the fence, apply for it, see what you get, and at least you got the approval in, right? And then make your decision. Because they just increase the flexibility of this program so that you have a better chance of getting it forgiven. By the way, this is a forgivable loan. So they increase the flexibility so you have a better chance of getting it forgiven, and therefore is more attractive. And if you don't get some of your loan forgiven, they've increased the term from 2 years to 5 years. So that gives you more flexibility in terms of payments. So Keep in mind, June 30th is the last day that you can get approved for the PPP, so do it now. Let me know if you don't know where to apply for one. Let me know if your bank has let you down, they've run out of funding. I bet I can help you. That's all I got for today. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate all your support. Please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Take care for now, and I'll see you next time.